Well, Pilgrim, looks like it's time for another episode of At Your Leisure. And this week, we're hoofing the same trail many Western stars and legends have taken before. Quite literally, join Ria and me as we go horseback riding down in Monument Valley. Then, Steve shows off a small town with big ATVing opportunities in our northern neighbor, Idaho. And it's getting hot out here, or is it just me? Learn what you can do to prevent our landscape from lighting ablaze this summer. This week on AYL.
Have you ever wondered where the names of rock formations came from, Chad?
I have, actually, because I've wanted to name a few myself, but nobody would accept them.
You would name your kids that. Hey everybody, welcome to At Your Leisure. I'm Ria Rossi Booth.
And I'm Chad Booth. We are out in Monument Valley, at the Monument Valley Navajo Tribal Park, and we are out on Roy Black's horses on a guided tour. This is a really phenomenal place, and I want to get back to that whole thing about who names these things, because, you know, you have the Three Sisters and you have the rooster and everything else. Well, take a look at that behind us. Can you guess the name of what that formation is? Have you got it? It's a wagon wheel. It's called the hub. Do you know who named it?
John Wayne.
Exactly. And I have been promised, because we were allowed to tell you about John Wayne, that I will only make one reference to him during the entire course of this show.
Which we can't wait to get started.
Yeah, that's true. So right now, let's find out a little bit about some of the magical things you can find down here.
I've been doing this for 26 years, doing the Jeep tours. And then about 3 years later, I started up my horse tour. We do Jeep tours. We start off from the visitor center. We provide like 1 hour, half a day, and all-day Jeep tours. For the horse tour, we do 3 hours for half a day, and then the all-day tour is like 6 hours.
Before they go out on tour, they don't really know what to expect. But when they come back, they're in awe. Usually they're like, wow, it's breathtaking, it's brilliant, never seen anything like it. And that's usually the reaction we get when everyone comes back, and they love it. And they like the guides, you know. Each of our guides has something to offer. Some have more knowledge of the horses, some have more knowledge of the area, some have more knowledge of the history, but everyone has something to offer here. Main thing is we try to have fun with our customers.
I like to show them around and tell them about our ways of life here on the Navajo reservation. I like to tell them about our religion, culture, tradition.
They're like skyscrapers, natural skyscrapers, you know. And when you come here, it's like an awakening, you know. When you come here and you've never been here before, but when you come here, it makes you feel alive, and it makes you feel small. You're human. You're not big as you think you were, and you're just like everyone else. And that's what you realize when you're here. Whoever comes here, we try to make them leave happy, no matter what experience they're going on in their life. You know, we try to make up for it by, you know, making them leave with a story to tell.
One of the reasons you should consider taking one of the tours down here instead of self-driving through the monument is that you will see things otherwise you wouldn't see. We would never have seen this. This is the Hogan. It is a huge amphitheater, double arch. It has a natural skylight in it. I've only seen one other like this down at Lake Powell once in my life.
It's fabulous. It's like Lake Powell with no water.
That's true.
Beautiful.
However, I do have a quiz question for you. If you look closely, you'll see George Washington's profile. Or is it, with a long black ponytail, an Indian chief? Tell us on Facebook. We want to know.
I know.
Anyway, right now it's time for us to take off and go to our travel adventure.
It's often been said that big things happen in big places, and I guess to an extent, that's true. But today I found that big things also happen in very little places. I'm Stephen Human for At Your Leisure, and I am in Mackay, Idaho. It's a town you probably never heard of before, and rightfully so. But if you are into ATVing, if you love dirt bikes, this is a place you need to come, and I want to show it off to you today.
Nestled in a verdant green valley in the heart of central Idaho, Mackay is a town few travelers stumble across by accident. Located well off the main thoroughfares of Interstates 15 and 84, Mackay quietly goes about its business of farming, ranching, and the main street commerce common to rural hamlets of the West. That unassuming exterior is only the introductory layer of what has become one of the most impressive off-highway destinations in the Rockies, combining history and adventure with some of the most striking landscapes anywhere in the world, all accessible right from the center of town. This is the real Mackay, Idaho.
We're just more of a backcountry, go do your thing, and if you aren't backcountry, then you really probably have no business being here. Been here 60 years, have absolutely no desire to be anywhere else. People are very friendly, and we just have a great time here.
Mackay started life like many Old West outposts, as a mining enclave. Even today, some mining still occurs on the peaks to the south, but most of the extraction industry has become little more than a proud part of the city's colorful history. Remnants of that time have been carefully curated and placed on display for interested visitors to appreciate, while entire smelting operations, long since abandoned to time and the elements, dominate entire trail systems. And that is where Mackay has come into the 21st century like few other spots on the map. They have embraced off-highway travel, creating loop systems and branch trails wherever mining roads existed. ATVs are allowed on city streets, with OHV trails taking off in all directions right from town. To the south, you can spend hours touring old mining facilities, wandering around buildings that once produced ore by the ton, but now sit decayed in the summer breeze. To the north, an entirely different world opens up to riders. Here you can pass through a rocky canyon that opens up on peaks that make you feel like you're in Central Europe. In fact, one of the main trails in the area is called Swiss Alps because of the distinct beauty and towering presence of the snow-kissed mountains. No matter where you turn, you'll find open access and a view that will widen your eyes.
We're an ATV-friendly town, and it's unlimited. People can ride any place they want to ride, and it's kind of up for the grabs. So I really don't know what to tell them. They have to come here and experience it. So.
Surprisingly enough, the ATV trails are just the beginning. Mackay is on the doorstep of some of the most iconic destinations in Idaho. A half hour to the south, you have Craters of the Moon, a volcanic expanse of lava rock and caves that takes you back to the time of the dinosaurs or the early days of Earth's formation. You could spend days here delving beneath the surface and finding hidden crags few people have ever seen. Now, back in town, you have hiking, fishing, everything you'd expect from an area as diverse as this. You never know what you're going to find when you take the highway less traveled through a state like Idaho, where most people only get off the freeway for gas anyway. It's places like Mackay that prove just how much adventure is out there over the horizon, and it can be found in the most surprising places, no matter how small.
We take it for granted here because we've lived here all our lives, and the people that come here, the mountain scenery is just unreal, absolutely unreal. And you can go to lakes, it's pretty much unlimited what you can do and see. You just have to go get it.
Sometimes the biggest adventures arrive in the smallest of packages, and that is definitely the case with Mackay, Idaho. Been really surprised with the quality of trails and the landscapes around here. It's absolutely incredible. Now, it's also really easy to find. You just head out of Idaho Falls, heading west on Highway 20 for about 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours, somewhere around there. Once you get to the town of Arco, Highway 20 turns into Highway 93, but it's the same road. About a half hour after Arco, you're here. It's small, but they have RV parks, they have places to eat, gas, everything that you would need, and you have access to all of these trails. It's obviously a very ATV-friendly place. You need to make it your next destination. Well, for At Your Leisure, I'm Stephen Human. We need to take a commercial break, but we'll be back with more adventure.
Run faster, pull harder, and leave everyone else behind. With an impressive 154 horsepower, combined with 113 foot-pounds of tire-spinning torque, the Maverick X3 absolutely rockets off the line, going from 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds. All thanks to a turbocharged and intercooled Rotax ACE engine. So get ready to wait for everyone else to catch up.
Look south to adventure. Look south to beauty. Look south to San Juan County. Out here, the road goes on forever, and what you'll find will change how you see the world. Climb on your OHV and discover forgotten landscapes and vistas that challenge the imagination. From Blanding and Monticello to the cliff faces of Monument Valley, we're open and ready for you to explore. San Juan County, Utah's Canyon Country.
Whether you ride mud, rocks, dunes, or trails, Polaris has a razor to match your passion. Unequaled power, unrivaled suspension, unmatched agility, and unbeatable comfort. Everything you need to chase memories and catch them. Find your razor at Polaris.com.
The time to buy is now. It's the Ray City RV Show parking lot sale. Join them this May 17th through the 24th for the best deals of the year. Over $31,000 off select models. Don't miss the sale. It's the Ray City RV Show parking lot sale.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure. I'm Darren Kinder, and our product review today are the new Honda Rebels. And these are really fun bikes because they start at only $43.99 for the 300 and go up to $59.99 for the 500. So those are brand new bikes for less than $6K. Let's check them out. Now, what's really fun about these is they're very simple motors, very simple designs. You've got the 500, which is a 2-cylinder engine, and you've got the 300, which is a single-cylinder engine. Now, they're both fuel injected though, so that is awesome. If you're gonna be riding them up in the mountains, it'll easily be able to adjust and make the bike run absolutely perfect. Both of these bikes are liquid cooled, which is really nice if you're sitting in traffic somewhere, you don't have to worry about it overheating. Now, these are bobber style bikes, which means you got the bigger, fatter tires on, which I love the look of, but notice you don't have a back seat. They do have bolts back here so that you can add a rear seat, but these are really meant for that first-time rider who should probably be riding by themselves anyway. But you've got a nice saddle on them, very comfortable, for you can ride quite a ways on these and really have a good time. Now, the bike is very basic, so you've got mirrors, you've got your headlight. It does have a nice instrument on it that has a lot of cool little features on it, but it all is meant to be very simple and very easy to understand. This bike isn't meant to do a long-range bomb, but it'd be great for running around town. Now, the bikes do come in 4 different colors. We've got the matte silver and the red. They also have a white and a black, so you can kind of customize them. There's a lot of different items you can add to them and make them very unique and fun to own. But if you want to check one of these out, get out to Stedman's in Tooele. I know it's 300 miles out there, but remember, it's only 30 miles back. I'm Darren Kinder. We'll see you next time.
It's out there. Something is definitely out there. Whatever it is, it's big. At one point, I swear, we got so close I could smell it. But then, poof, it was gone.
Right.
It exists. The new Honda Pioneer 1000 with a best-in-class engine and 6-speed fully automatic dual-clutch transmission. Pioneer 1000 from Honda.
Prepare to be demolished at the Juab County Fair in Nephi, Utah, August 7th through the 12th. Prepare for the extraordinary as we push the limits of excitement at one county fair that changes all the rules. Rodeos and demolition derbies are just the icebreakers at an event that makes teenagers face their fears in front of the crowd and takes robots and cupcakes to a whole new level. Think you know county fairs? Think again. August 7th through the 12th in Nephi, Utah. It's the Juab County Fair. Find out what makes us different.
Dominate every trail. Conquer any task. You need a machine that does it all. Introducing Polaris General. The General is the most powerful wreck utility side-by-side ever made. The industry's deepest cargo box lets you haul and dump up to 600 pounds, and the revolutionary cockpit totally refines comfort and protection. Polaris General, ultimate versatility to win every battle.
There's a little place on a Utah map where I was raised, where my heart's at, where the sagebrush grows wild and high, and the stars come out at night. Oh, there ain't nothing like being raised in the basin with a Ute reservation, skiing starvation, that Duchesne County life.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure at the Monument Valley in Navajo Tribal Park. We are out with Spud and
That's Spud, this is Comanche, and we are with the Roy Black tour guides, and these guys are amazing. Not only are their horses amazing, but the guides are wonderful.
that's true. Millard's been our guide today. He's just been so much fun, and he is telling us all kinds of history. So what do you think so far?
I think it's phenomenal. I can't even imagine that there were 160 movies filmed out here before I was born.
Well, Spud, what do you think?
He's a talker, Spud.
Yeah. So Spud thinks that we should find out a little bit about this area.
The guided tours are very exclusive, and you won't get a lot of the same sceneries as you would in a vehicle. As you would come here, this is called Sand Springs. It's very, very green. As the spring, everything starts to bloom, and as you're on the other side of this sand dune here, you wouldn't get this. You know, all you would see is a desert and a bunch of sandstone monuments, and which is still really nice. But as you come here, you know, you kind of get a little bit of down to earth about what the people around this area kind of see, or what they live by and what they do on a regular daily basis. I'm a guide, and I like to show you guys a little bit about where we come from, but not only do I get to show you guys and teach you guys a little bit about where I come from, I get to learn a little bit about you guys, you know?
I've always wanted to do this my whole life. Ride horses in Monument Valley, and here we are.
Do you think you and Spud are getting along?
Spud, Potato Head, and I are just like we're kindred spirits.
So you can see John Ford kind of put us on the map here, you know, as he was one of the main producers here who made a lot of films. You know, a lot of Western films were made here. You got movies way back like 1956 with The Searchers with John Wayne. You got some of the new modern movies, you know, like you got Vacation, you know, with Chevy Chase here, made back here. You got Forrest Gump made back over here, that one clip here where he was running by Monument Pass. You got A Million Ways to Die in the West, and some of the clips in Mission Impossible 2 filmed back here in some of our arches.
As I promised at the beginning of the show, I was only going to have one John Wayne moment, and this is going to be it. Well, when you're out on the trail, Cookie, you got to remember one thing, that Rocky Mountain ATV MC always ends up being the star of our trailhead adventure. Yo.
One less spark will mean one less wildfire.
That's a slogan that has taken on new meaning this year as blazes rage throughout the West. Many have grown from small flare-ups to billowing conflagrations in a matter of just minutes. These fires can cost millions to fight and more in property damage, to say nothing about the effects to the environment. And that's why a team from across the country has come together not only to put out the flames, but to keep any more from even starting.
I'm with the National Fire and Prevention Team from the Pacific Northwest, and we've all been called in here to help bolster Utah's fire prevention program.
Fire danger this year is extremely high. We had a very wet winter, which led to a very productive growing season. As a result, we have a lot of fine grasses out there, right around 120% of the typical fuel loading, which would be the amount of grass out there. Now we have a lot more folks during the summer season getting out doing their camping and their outdoor activities. So as a result of the additional people out and about, that leads to an increased potential for ignitions.
It is a natural part of the environment. It's a natural part of the ecological system, but what isn't is these unnatural starts by people. So we can't have, say, a vehicle fire from the highway. Like, the landscape isn't used to having 5 fires a year right next to the highway in that one spot. But whereas a lightning that starts a fire in a forest, maybe once in a blue moon, then that's a little bit more natural, and that's a little bit better for the area's natural ecology.
The multi-agency team has come together at the Great Basin Coordination Center in Salt Lake City, Utah, to mobilize resources in the battle against wildfires in the region. Representatives from the Forest Service, Bureau of Land Management, Department of Natural Resources, and many others bring their expertise to bear not only in fighting blazes like the one that burned through the Bryan Head area over the last month, but in their prevention as well. Having so many government agencies working together would seem like a recipe for conflict, but in this case, everyone has their sights set on the bigger picture.
So Utah works really well. It doesn't matter if you're federal, state, or local. We all work extremely well together. So whether that's fighting a fire or preventing them, we're all on the same page.
With the fire season well underway and over 800,000 acres burned in 12 states already, the team is currently focusing on public awareness. Generally, we think of campfires as the main danger when it comes to starting wildfires, but in truth, that isn't the case. There is a lot that recreationists can do to prevent sparking the next big blaze.
The majority of our fires are coming from debris burning, they're coming from vehicles, and they're coming from shooting. People aren't aware that a blown out tire could ignite a wildfire, or that maybe even just a dragging safety chain from their trailer produces enough spark to ignite the dry grasses along the roadsides. And this is a result of maybe they're not even aware that their chain was dragging to begin with, and secondly, that it resulted in a fire.
Or even more so, they'll have a chain like this one that doesn't have any sort of a latch or a rubber piece to keep it hooked up. So they hit a bump, that hits the ground, and then they're dragging it at whatever speed they're going, and it's sending sparks the whole time. A big one for any motorized equipment, especially on federal and state lands, is that it has a properly installed spark arrestor in the exhaust system. So you want to make sure that that's still in place, it's properly functioning.
It's also important to examine ATVs and other vehicles to make sure that no dry grass has been caught in the undercarriage. The heat of the engine could cause it to catch fire, damaging the machine and potentially starting a larger blaze. Tires should also be checked, since a blowout can cause the rim to scrape the ground and send out sparks in every direction. Performing a standard walk-around before heading out will go a long way in keeping public lands safe from potential wildfire.
The best bet is to go to utahfireinfo.gov. That'll have all of the fire restrictions for the state and a bunch of other preventative tips.
Wildfires are a part of our western ecology and play a role in the rebirth of forests and other landscapes. But as long as we're able to mitigate the role we play in starting unnecessary blazes, that natural cycle will continue, and we'll be able to enjoy recreating on our public lands for generations to come. From the trailhead, I'm Malia Stringham.
Too often we find ourselves in shoes like these, or these. Wouldn't it be nice to change into something more like this, or this? How about these? Put on whatever shoes you prefer and come to Beaver County. We have exactly the adventure you need to put under them. So the next time you want to change out of these, come to Beaver County, where you can jump into a pair of these. Beaver County, Utah. Lace up for adventure. The time to buy is now. It's the Ray City RV Show parking lot sale. Join them this May 17th through the 24th for the best deals of the year. Over $31,000 off select models. Don't miss the sale. It's the Ray City RV Show parking lot sale.
In a place that is beyond words, there is nothing to be said, except take your time in Bryce Canyon country.
Welcome back to At Your Leisure, everybody. Boy, Chad just asked me, what's your favorite part of the trip? And I was telling Millard, our guide, I think every single part was my favorite part. And I say it all the time, but it was
I know
amazing.
what a cop-out, Ria.
But it was amazing. I mean, you got petroglyphs, you got the most incredible arches, the scenery. I mean, it's breathtaking. It's so pretty.
We're at that point of the show where we talk about things ahead. And our journal includes a calendar of events. We've got quite a few to check out.
Next week, on the 29th of July, is the 8th annual Tige Wake Up Wakeboard Competition. Go for the pros showing off their high-speed tricks, but stay for the vendors and activities on the beach. This event will be up at Pineview Reservoir, and our friends from ADSSS will be there. Plus, if you think you have what it takes, there's still time to register online. Then, the weekend after that, we've got a whole cornucopia of activities. Ooh. So there's no excuse to stay at home. The Uintah Basin in Celebration runs July 28th through August 5th. It's a whole week of summer fun, including golf tournaments, races, pageants, a talent show, concerts. The list goes on and on. Go online to find out more. But if destruction's more your speed, we've got that covered too. On August 5th, in Mendon, Utah, local daredevils take each other on in the extreme downhill Barbie Jeep Race. Grab your plastic rig and hit the slope. Registration is still open. And later that evening, head to Tooele County for more vehicular carnage. It's the Punishment at the Peak Demolition Derby, part of Tooele's County Fair, featuring not only professional drivers, but county commissioners too. Again, this August 5th out at Deseret Peak.
And now we're going to go to our sticker winner and check this out.
Congratulations to Brody Johnson, who sent us this picture via Facebook. You are the winner of some Fast Card passes, a perfect family activity. Call us to claim your prize.
Call 801-947-8888. We're expecting you to call us right away. Well, let's get on to next week's show.
Normally we wouldn't recommend riding your bicycle in the middle of the night, but next week Darren and Jill are doing just that at one event that lights up the Great Salt Lake. Then load up your ATV with me, Stephen Human, as I preview one off-road event in Marysville, Utah that is back this year and bigger than ever. You'll want to mark your calendar for this one. We'll have all the details in 7 days.
Well, that's all the time we have for our show this week. We want to thank Millard and Roy Black Tours for getting us out here into Monument Valley. And remember, there's adventure around every bend. It's up to you to get out and create your own adventure at your leisure. To the stable! Hey-ya! Hey-ya! Hey-ya!
2 hours outside of that, you head east, west. Well, big things sometimes call them sometimes the biggest adventures.